I've got the sprayer hooked up again. We haven't had any really good news to report, so I haven't made a video in a while. We had barely a 1/10 of an inch of rain in April, and we had 2 killing frost in April. So our poor hay has started over and started over and started over and made it through drought, and it's barely shoe high. And we normally cut the 1st of June, and it's May the 18th, so we still got a ways to go, but you can see she's still hanging in there, nice and green. Today what we're dealing with is a little 2-acre field that has been limed, has been fertilized, and out of nowhere starts sprouting foxtail. And I do the pre-emergent. We did the Resilon in the fall, Resilon in the spring, so of course came to the conclusion that this is not root foxtail, which is the perennial variety. And the really crabby part is there's really no good treatment. So I was reading up on it, and it said you could do 1 ounce to 1.5 ounces to the acre of pastora, along with 8 ounces to the acre glyphosate, and then in about 3 to 4 weeks, if I remember right, you can do another treatment of pastora. Well, our poor little grass has been so stressed that I hate to do glyphosate. I understand the literature, but my heart just won't let me do it. So I'm just putting down some pastora today. Gonna see how that does. It has not seeded out yet, I don't think, or it hadn't as of 2 days ago, but we know how that goes. But it is a little tall, and so I was torn between wait till the first cutting or go ahead and kind of get it when it's small, or go ahead and do it. But our grass is so short, I don't know when our next cutting's going to be, so I opted to do it sooner rather than later. So it's always something that we're dealing with. It's just I don't know where all this stuff came from. We didn't have it in this field last year, but once you get one problem corrected, another one rears its ugly head. So that's what we got going on now, is some not root foxtail. And until something different comes out, some new herbicide, we're just gonna have to use pastora and see how it does. But from what I read, it was like bad option and worse option for treatments. So we're gonna get this going. I'm gonna get this unfolded and hopefully get to spraying, and hopefully the wind will kind of hold tight. I meant to add earlier that I was doing the 1.5 ounces to the acre of pastora, and I also added a quart to the acre of 2,4-D because I scouted around and saw some horse nettle. So hopefully that'll take care of any broadleaves that are trying to pop up, and then of course added some surfactant, and we'll see how it does. Hopefully it won't scorch us too bad, and maybe it'll kind of cut back on the foxtail. I don't know, I'm not very convinced that it's going to do much of anything except turn the coastal yellow. But we'll see. You got to try something. You can't do nothing, or I would assume it would just take over and take over. So maybe we'll just keep stinging it until we get it played out. But we'll give it a try, and I'll do another video, keep everybody posted on how it does, if it does anything at all, and if anyone else has any ideas on how to handle this, or maybe how they handled it. I'm all ears. Any suggestions are welcome. Okay, as promised, I'm going to give the update on the pastora that I sprayed for the foxtails. I sprayed 1.5 ounces to the acre, and that was probably 3 weeks ago. Unfortunately, I did not mix the glyphosate with it like it was recommended, the 8 ounces to the acre. And I got maybe 50% control, which is not acceptable. So I had to come back about 4 days ago and spray the glyphosate. And I really hated that because the grass was just starting to recover from the pastora and was getting some regrowth on it, and then I had to mow it back down with glyphosate. So I'll show you some of the foxtail that was not back with the pastora, and then I'll show you some of the new growth. And it's just now turning a little bit yellow. You're not going to see great results for another week or so from the glyphosate. Okay, these were some of the foxtails, kind of burned back by the pastora, but then you can see where it started to have new growth, and it would kill half the plant. You can see some discoloring in this plant, but then it just started getting new growth on it. And these are the worst kind. This is the knotroot foxtail that is so hard to get under control. So this plant here is already starting to show some yellowing from the glyphosate, and all I can say is spray the recommended amounts. Don't be like me and try to soft shoe it and hope for the best. If it's recommended to spray 2 herbicides together, unfortunately you got to take that loss and just bite the bullet and spray it. My fields would have been so much further ahead if I would have just followed instruction the first time, instead of now I'm going to damage them for at least another week, and then they got to start recouping just from that on into the summer as it gets hotter and drier. So don't be like me. Spray the recommended stuff, and hopefully we can get a handle on this foxtail.